Welcome, Ash. Welcome to the Working Mama podcast. How's your day going so far?
Thanks for having me, Karina. So far, so good. Yesterday was pretty basic because we had an attempted robbery slash break-in, but rest assured, I got my kung fu skills out and scared those bastards right away.
Well done. Geez, that's a
Thanks.
bit of a start.
It is, I know, it's shocking. Anyway, times are tough these days, apparently, in the streets.
Yeah, I'm sure we could go into the crime stats living in Melbourne for the moment, but we won't get into that. Instead, obviously, you were protecting your two daughters. So, for those that don't know you, Ash, if someone were meeting you for the first time, how would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as a pretty straight shooter, sometimes to my detriment, but I would say that I am a bit of an empath. I am somebody who asks a lot of questions because I'm curious, but doesn't really mince their words.
Oh, very cool. So, what's been your career journey? So, a lot of people may have known you from reality TV and things like that, but how have you got to where you are today?
Well, I originally wanted to be an actress and I studied acting in Sydney for 3 years and pursued that in America for a little while. And then I kind of realized that, God, this is brutal and I'm not making
Tough
much
going.
money. Yeah, it's tough. And I had goals, I wanted to own property. I didn't want to be wondering where my next paycheck was coming from. And I wanted to feel secure and safe, and happy, and I wasn't happy. So I wondered whether that was for me. I came back to Australia and then I went to uni again, but this time I studied events. Um, and at the end of that degree, I got a job. And at the same time, the my boyfriend at the time said, there's a show on television at the moment about, just your everyday cook, but with a bit of a twist. You'd be really good on that show because you're nuts and you're a good cook. I said to
What
him,
a compliment.
yeah, I said, well, that's career suicide for an actor going on reality television show. I'm not doing it. And lo and behold, I was like, oh, I'll just suss it out anyway. I'm not doing any acting, and put my application in. And honestly, it was so fast. They called me the next day. They just, yeah, it was so quick. Camilla and I, who was my partner on the show, went to the next round of auditions, then the next round, and then suddenly we were on the show. And then from there, we didn't win. In fact, I've never won any of the shows that I've been on, which is ironic. Um, but perhaps have had the longest standing reality TV career of most people in Australia.
Well, there
Just to
must be
toot
something
my
in
own
it.
horn there,
Must be
Karina.
something in it. There we go.
But yeah, it just sort of it went from there and snowballed to other shows like Dancing with the Stars, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I had my own cooking show on Channel 10, and went on the Traitors. I've been on a whole bunch of very different things, and I made a career out of reality television, which then went into me hosting reality TV. Hosting breakfast radio shows in New South Wales. And then I
Wow,
became a mum.
that's definitely a transition. And what do you think's kept you going through that? Is it just this like, right, I'm enjoying it? Because obviously there must be doors opening constantly for you, or you had to sort of knock down a few doors because making
Um,
those transitions mustn't be always easy.
I've always, after MKR, so I auditioned to go on MKR, but every other show after that, I was asked to be on. But it wasn't me just sitting around with offers coming, falling into my lap. I still had to do a lot of hustling, continue putting my name out there, knocking at doors of, producers' offices and explaining my case, why I'd be a great fit for the show and things like that, including my radio gig. Before, whilst I was on reality television, I was still traveling around to different states to, I suppose, well, it is an audition essentially, where I would go onto a breakfast radio show or whatever for a couple of hours with other hosts and show the producers of that show that this is what I wanted. And I remember a producer saying to me once, I'm nervous that you're just doing this to be famous and not because you like it. And then from that point forward, I was like, damn, that's just so disheartening that that's what these people think. So now I
Yeah.
really need to prove myself with these guys. So the next offer for me was to move to Shepparton and do the breakfast radio show there. And honestly, it was hell. It was hell, but I did it.
Just to prove a
I did some
point.
seriously shit things. And I don't think I was even paid for that job, to be honest. But as my father would say, you've got to have the opportunity costs. And I did a lot of shit for free back in the day, which just wouldn't fly now because I got to put food on the table.
Yeah.
But that industry is brutal, and there was a lot of that, a lot of proving, a lot of peddling nonstop. It was tough, it was hard, but there's a part of me that loved and loves that,
That
the
hard work,
chase.
the
Yeah,
chase, that goal. As you said at the start, you're quite goal orientated. So reaching that goal, like, I'm going to prove them. I'm not doing this just what
yeah.
you think.
I mean, it's crazy. Like, I'm not a surgeon. I'm not a scientist. I'm literally just going on a reality television show just to be me,
Yeah.
essentially. But it is nerve-wracking sometimes, but I just get off on it. Like, I love it.
Yeah. And
It's
so
so much fun.
how much do you think then that prepared you for motherhood?
Absolutely did not prepare me for motherhood at all. Like, nothing can prepare you. I don't care what anyone says. Nothing can prepare you. You can get as much goss as you want from fellow mums out there, and they can say, oh, get ready for this or do this and do that. But that doesn't even prepare you. It might make you aware, but it doesn't prepare you.
No, definitely not even getting up at the crack of dawn for breakfast
Nah,
radio.
no, nah. Because at least I would have, I'd get up at 4 a.m. for Brekkie Radio, but at least I still would have had at least 6 to 8 hours sleep beforehand. When you're a mum, good luck if you're
2 hours, 1 hour.
yeah, like absolutely brutal.
Oh, what a joy. So then how has then, obviously you're very goal orientated, as we said, how has then been the shift now as a working mum into that, I guess, world as well of breakfast radio?
Well, I stopped radio when I was pregnant. And in fact, it was right when COVID hit. So I was doing the breakfast radio show in New South Wales, and I said to my bosses then, I need to move back to Melbourne where my partner lives because I'm pregnant and I don't want to go through this pregnancy alone in New South Wales. I need to move back. So I moved back and I did our breakfast radio show from our lounge room until the end of my pregnancy.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I had my daughter Clementine, who is 4 years old now. And 4 months after I had Clementine, I fell pregnant with Claudette.
Wow, go you.
Yeah. So I really only went back to radio for a very short amount of time. And then it was just kind of like, I think I need to hang up my hat here. I've got two tiny babies. This is a full-time job in itself.
Yep.
And I pretty much focused on parenting for the next 4 years. But in sort of that transition from radio to pregnancy to motherhood, I wondered how I was going to make money because I really didn't have any other experience, in any other realm. And what can you do when you're at home with a kid?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm not really using it to the best of my ability. That is Instagram. So why don't I start using that? Because I can make money from Instagram. Let's focus on building my followers and potentially getting more deals there. And that's when I said goodbye to my then manager, who is still a fantastic manager, but is very good at TV, radio sort of realm. Then I reached out to Roxy Jasenko, who is like the PR queen. She's always in the bloody Daily Mail. So
Yeah,
this,
she's on
that,
the
and the
media all the
other,
time. Yep.
dripping in diamonds, but she's an absolute go-getter, complete go-getter, just does not stop. And so that she's going to be hunting those jobs for you because she's money hungry. So I thought, well, if she's money hungry, that's going to give me some coin
Yeah.
because she's going to be hunting down those jobs. I'm
Like
not
mine. Yeah.
stupid.
No.
Yeah. And yeah, we began our partnership probably 4 or 5 years ago and haven't looked back since. And I am officially a full-time influencer. I haven't gone back into radio, although I did early last year filmed The Traitors, and that's probably the only telly I've done since I've had
Yeah.
kids. Yeah. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I do. That's
That's
my
what you
that's my
do.
money earner. Yep. And if you haven't gathered that by now, if like by following me on Instagram, then you're a ding dong because it's pretty obvious. But
So
I
if it,
do like I actually love it. Like I was quite ashamed to admit that I was an influencer because I didn't think it was a real job.
what's the
Because the
term of an influencer? Everyone hears this term of
content
influencer.
creator.
Yeah.
I
Professional
mean,
content creator.
yeah, I mean, that's what I do all day, every day. I create content for brands to advertise their products. And it's not actually a cakewalk. It's pretty hard. Like you've got to know what you're doing. The filming it doesn't take 2 seconds. You've really got to be creative. You've got to know how to edit. You've got to be good at writing voiceover scripts. So, there was a lot of learning in that for me. And I definitely feel like a bit of a boomer compared to all these super young influencers that are, pinging their fab content. My content is not curated; it's just real. So I definitely think that's another thing that puts me ahead of the others in that my followers are really loyal because they know I'm just no bullshit.
Yeah. And you get it obviously as a mum. And so how do you then decide like if the involvement of your children and obviously raising your children in the media spotlight? Because at times that must be hard because there's I know probably criticism at times, but also other people, I guess,
Yeah,
comparisonitis.
it's a tough one. Like it's a tough one, and I battle with that all day. There are things that I will and I won't share. I'm not sharing every single aspect of my life. Um, like the cooking vids go really, really well. My followers love it. My children absolutely love to get in the kitchen, and I just feel like that's a that's a bit of innocent fun, right? Like it's nothing controversial.
We can all
Um,
relate to it.
yeah, but there was something that I did post maybe last year. It was my youngest daughter, Claudette, eating like a big loaf of bread just out of the packet like that. And she was just chomping on the butt end of the bread. And people were like, take that down. Freaks use that as like porno where they sub out the bread for like phallic things. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
immediately in meltdown. I delete the video and then I'm like, fuck, what have I done? Like that. What do you do?
Yeah, it's a hard one when you're thinking it's just innocent fun, and then you're like, whose twisted mind is doing something else with
Twisted,
this?
like
It's just crazy.
twisted. Yeah, I don't
Absolutely
know.
crazy.
Look, it's a tough one. I believe I'm not just putting up every waking moment. I never put my kids up in bathers or anything like that. It's just I always say this, I show them what I do for work because they understand now. I show them and I say, can I film you for this, what we're doing?
Mm.
I don't think they understand the concept of what an advertisement is, but mummy's got to film this and do you want to be a part of it? No? Okay, that's fine. That it ends there. And then I tell the client, the kids don't want to be involved in this one. And it's fine.
Yeah,
Like
it makes it a bit of fun, and it's also you're giving them that choice.
I know people will still be like, why are you even asking your kid to be a part of the ad as if they even know what that means? Like, all
Well, you're
right,
showing,
mate.
you're educating them. Who cares? Just ignore those crazy people.
I know.
So how do you then, obviously you've had this journey so far and different seasons, I guess you would say, throughout your life. Where do you find some of those challenges have really come out as being a mum and also being a working mum, also in the spotlight? And also what's helped you through some of those challenging times?
I don't feel like I'm in the spotlight anymore. I definitely feel like just like a bit of a washed up, reality TV star.
Certainly not.
Um, but look, what was the question?
What's like some of the overcoming those challenges as a mum and what's helped you through it?
Oh, well, I have to say, I was pretty ill mentally when I had my first child because it was COVID. You couldn't have any of your
Oh,
family. It was lockdown. It was just at that time, my parents had just told me that they were separating too. So that information for me was just like, what the hell is going on here? And I didn't have the right resources to help me through that. And then I just went into a really, really dark place. And then in that dark place, I fell pregnant again. So then, of
oh my
course, your
goodness.
hormones are going nuts, you know, your hormones are
Because you
going
must be
nuts.
spiraling.
I was spiraling. It was pretty bad. And so then when I had Claudette, I was really spiraling to the point where I had to check into hospital just for the support, so that they could take my baby and feed it at night so that I could get sleep, because that's what kills you.
Yeah, the
It's
no sleep.
literally what kills you is the no sleep. As long as you can get at least an 8 hour block in amongst all the 2 hours, it is just game changing.
100%.
So yeah, the hospital visit was good, but it didn't take away all the other issues, that I felt, like unsupported, paranoid, tired. Oh my God, I'm not feeding my baby that right. That boob's not working. And like it's
Oh,
just nonstop.
everything that goes on and you don't know
Nonstop.
what's
And
going on. Yep.
you don't know what to try and help yourself with first. So your brain's just fucking discombobulating. And in the end, literally fast forward to now, my daughters are 3 and 4. I've only just put myself on medication because all of the appointments that I've been having with my psychiatrist, because the psychologist wasn't working, all of the appointments I have with my psychiatrist are not fast enough for me. They're just not, I'm not getting to where I need to go to get my brain in check, basically.
And is that what you're finding that's helping you through that? Seeing a psychologist and obviously now going on meds?
Talking to somebody about it and hashing it out, like what I'm panicking about or whatever my problems are, really does help. But somebody who's not a family member or a friend,
Mm,
they have to be, separate. And I never wanted to resort to medication ever. I was always of the mind that I was going to do this by myself, but it just didn't work. It doesn't. I was getting worse, as I get older. I don't know what happens, hormones, whatever. I felt like I was going nuts. So I had to go on the drugs, and I give almost zero fucks about things that I gave massive fucks about. So it's really good. Yeah, it's great. It's not a long-term thing. I want to get off it, but it's just good for now.
yeah. And what has that then happened since becoming a mum? Was it just like a lot of was it postnatal depression or anxiety or just
No, so
everything all just put into one?
I was always an anxious person, but I was able
Mm,
to deal with that. I lived with it. I could deal with it. But when I had kids, I could not deal anymore. I didn't know how to deal because I was trying to look after two children. I stopped looking after myself. That was it. And
yeah,
yeah, it was postnatal anxiety, then postnatal depression, and then just anxiety.
that's full on. And that's often what happens as well. Like there's just so much that obviously if you've had as a
But it's
child and
crazy,
it's
yeah,
crazy that
because
all these emotions then just come out as well when you become a mum.
I think the craziest thing is when you're working and you're striving and you're achieving and you're looking toward a goal and you are blessed with a pregnancy and a child, you're dealing with like, oh my God, I'm so blessed for having a baby. But then also like, oh fucking hell, I just had to stop my career or potentially even like me, literally up stumps in the middle of like this trajectory that I was on. And now I'm completely derailed from where I was going. And that plays on your mind. What am I going to do now? Where am I going? Who am I?
The identity crisis and the matrescence journey that comes on of what's going on and the impact of kids and career and everything else like that. Yes.
Oh, It's just like, yeah, it's so annoying. Sick of thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, how annoying is imposter syndrome? Just fuck off.
Exactly. But no, as much as you tell you, I'm not going to do that, it still comes back to creep its rear head on a regular
Yep.
basis.
Yep. I know.
And the confidence. No, I can do this. I could do this pre-kids now. I'm not so sure.
You know what's crazy? I thought that I would never go back to my, well, not go back to my normal self, but I thought that I'd never get a grip on myself anymore. And I think I am sort of feeling like I'm coming out of that sort of the haze of the toddler
Yes.
relentlessness, because I used to love to cook. I absolutely loved to be in the kitchen, loved to cook. You know, it all started on MKR.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I had kids, and, you know, I was making fabulous meals for Clementine when she was a teeny tiny tot. And then Claudette came along, and I was like, I fucking hate cooking. It's all I do every single day. You know,
And then they refuse it for whenever you cook.
you just, that's what the first thing is that you think of when you wake up. What am I cooking for dinner? You make a million snacks a day. But in the last 6 months, my passion is coming back. I can feel it. You know, I spoke to you about the kids coming in the kitchen, and the fact that Clementine has a real interest in cooking, and how
Mm.
come that does that, and what do we do here, and that really makes me want to get back in there again. I just did this awesome collaboration, by the way, with Australian mushrooms. Bit of a segue here, but we had a collaboration where, think of like the shaker fries that went fully gangbusters. This is like the shaker bag mushroom. Who would have ever thought
Ah,
to take the bag from the mushroom section, right, and put the mushrooms in there with some various different flavors, shake it all around, and cook the mushrooms? That was a freaking genius idea, but also one of the best collaborations I've done in encouraging the kids to get in the kitchen.
well, it's making
And
it active and they get to shake and they get to cook and all that fun stuff.
yeah, but just that, you know, having those collaborations and having at least one of my children, I mean, they both love it, but at least one of my kids getting into the kitchen has sort of made me feel like that's where I need to be again.
And
And
it gives you that sense of
it gives my
belonging.
inspiration. Yeah, just the inspo, it's coming back to me. And I just feel like, oh my God, yes, I'm being reborn.
I can see the light. It's there.
Yeah,
It's possible. Just a little bit at a
exactly.
time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So how do you manage the juggle between being an influencer, managing the kids, and obviously life in general?
Um, well, I must say that I have learned to delegate. I I think that is so important. If you
Mm,
have the resources, that is what you need to do. Often, you know, you spend money on delegating, which means that you've got to then work more to pay for the delegation. Same with, you know, you've got to pay more daycare fees, which means you've
yeah.
got to bloody well. It's just,
Work.
yeah.
Yep.
But this year I said to Pete that I wanted the kids, Pete's my partner, sorry, that it, I wanted the kids to be in care full time, so Monday to Friday. So they go to kinder and daycare, so that I could focus on building my brand again, and, you know, getting back out into the workplace in whatever capacity that means. Um, and so because of that, I then can't do the washing a million times a day. Even though I
Yeah.
work from home, I still do it a bit. But I have absolutely no interest in doing the ironing. I don't want to do it. I don't want to waste my time. I hate it.
I hate it.
So I pay someone to do it. I
Smart
also,
choice.
yeah, I also have a cleaner who comes fortnightly.
Oh,
So
how good is that? It's amazing.
amazing. And I'm really good with keeping the house clean. Pete is as well in the interim. So those are the things that I pay for, that I delegate to somebody else, tasks that I hate. And I completely realize that that is an absolute treat. But I'm not sorry for it. And I just feel like I'm 40 in a year. I'm fucked if I am ironing a shirt, thanks. I want to either be playing with my kids, cooking in the kitchen, earning some coin, like, or just
Doing all the fun
enjoying.
stuff, enjoying
Yeah.
life rather than cleaning toilets and baths, which
Oh,
not
so
so
I
much fun.
used to love doing it too. I used
I
to
hate
absolutely
it.
love it.
I absolutely hate it.
Oh well, each to their own.
But it's
I
really
hate it
good.
now.
Delegation is then the key.
It is the absolute key.
It's key. And how do you share the juggle with Pete?
Um, well, we definitely argue about that.
You're not alone.
Yeah, we argue. In fact, recently I invested in the fair play cards. Have you heard about those?
Yes, yes, the Eva Radowski, yes.
Completely, I would recommend. I just they're so good. We did have arguments during the divvying out of the cards. So basically, they're cards with household tasks like the emotional labor, and you divvy them out to your partner and yourself. And whatever cards that you guys agree on having are the cards that you are then in charge of in the house and to do with the family. And we did those a while ago, and now we've forgotten sort of what our tasks are. So often we're like, well,
That's
that's not
yours.
fair. Yeah. Or like, I did that and come and help me in the garden. I'm like, no, I'm not on maintenance. That's your fucking job. Like, no. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So we really need to get back to those cards, I think. It is a struggle, I have to say. It's been very, very difficult for us and our relationship, having two very young children. Also, we spent the majority of our relationship living apart. So for the first 4 years of our relationship, we had a long distance relationship. Yep.
Wow.
And then the only reason why we brought it together was because I fell pregnant. So we'd never lived together.
Oh my goodness, before having a child. Wow.
Nah,
Geez, how did that go?
it's crazy.
Because kids always
It
bring a whole new ball game into a relationship.
Look, it was actually fine. And to be honest, we're kind of like the same sort of height of cleanliness and obsessiveness and just all the nesses. That's where we're there. But we do want to
Yeah.
strangle each other sometimes, most of the time.
But you got the cards. When you've had the conversation, you got the cards.
How do we juggle it, Karina? We don't. We just peg the ball at each other and be like, this is yours. Deal with it.
And the girl's like, all right, more mushrooms. Thank you.
We don't often fight in front of the girls or argue in front of the girls. We sort of try and keep that to, somewhere else. But when we do have our moments, the girls will always be like, Mummy, don't talk to daddy like that. I'm like, no.
Like 3-on-1. This isn't fair.
I know, like, what the hell, girls?
Oh, funny. If you had to tell your pre-kid self something about being a mum and managing the juggle, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh my God. This is like probably the dumbest advice. Don't try and do it all. And even saying that, I still struggle to not try and do it all. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what that is about me. Oh, okay, maybe I'll give another piece of advice, and that is delegate. Like if an annoying question that you can get from friends or family is, what can I do or what can I bring you? Like, fuck, just
Just
come and
bring
just
something.
just tell me what you're going to do for me. Like offer your help. Like I'm going to come and clean the house, or I'm going to pay for your cleaner, whatever. If they actually ask you, what can I do? Don't say nothing. Make them do something. Because the trouble with our culture is that we really don't have that sort of nurturing, nesting culture at
No,
all. Like
no,
at all. I
no.
had absolutely no help. And that is not okay. We should be nurturing mothers and taking good care of them. And I just feel like it's within our right as new mothers to ask for that help.
And
Like,
not feel ashamed or guilty for asking for help
no,
either.
no.
Just go for it. Take it all. Yes, I want
Put
this,
that
this, and this.
zero,
Put it
put
all
that
on.
zero fucks hat on and go for it.
Yeah, and
And if
ask
you're
for it
getting
all.
like secondhand parental advice from your mother-in-law, then just straight up tell that mother-in-law to shush.
Yeah. You want visitation? This is the terms.
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
Very good, very good. And you've spoken about some of your challenges, your mental health journey. What advice and tips would you say for anyone listening that's going through a similar journey who feels like they've barely got it together? And I know that juggle is, there's a lot of glass balls in that juggle. What would you want to, I guess, share and just, I don't know, give a big virtual hug to and any tips for that person?
It won't always be this bad. Don't give up on yourself. When times are really tough and you feel like there is absolutely no light at the end of the tunnel, because often I just felt in a dark spot and quite scared and couldn't see the way out, didn't know the way out. If you just sit in that for a while longer, there will be a light. It could be weeks, months. I don't know. It took me maybe a couple of years on and off, but up and down and up and down. And I got there. It's just like I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just assuming that it's hormone imbalances. You're so tired. It's just all of that. It's that you don't have any control over it. So just let it happen if you can, and know that there will be an end to it.
Great advice, great advice. So Ash, what's next for you? So you've got your kids slowly coming out of toddlerhood. Where do you see yourself going as a working mom and influencer and everything else? What journey are you on and where would you like to see yourself?
I have no idea, Karina, and that's probably the scariest thing. And I suppose there are a lot of women out there like me too who don't know where they're going. I'd love to know, but I suppose I just have to give in to the fact that I don't know where I'm headed, and maybe that's exciting.
I think
It's
you're going to trust your gut based on
Yeah.
based on where you've been in the last 10 years. I think the
I
sky's
know
the
that
limit.
I know that I'm not afraid of sort of asking and chasing people up and sort of putting my jamming my foot in the door, if you will. I'm not afraid of that anymore, because I just feel like, what is the worst thing that could happen? Nothing. Like
Nothing.
I'm just where I am before I jam my foot in the door, or I go through the door. So I'm not too worried. I do get worried, but I just try and sort of breathe into it and know that I always work something out. I will always work something out.
Everything's figure outable. You've got the
Yeah.
drive and the ambition. You can see you just going ahead and doing it.
Yeah. If you got to keep that positive mind frame that something will work out. And it always does. It does.
Yep, in some shape or form, it will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what do you like to fill your cup?
Oh, tough one. Lately, massages, facials,
Very nice.
um, alone time,
Mm.
just binge watching anything on Netflix.
Yeah, how good.
Like, just that fills my cup. When my brain is still and silent, that's a cup filler. Obviously, it goes without saying, I have to say it. My children fill my cup up full to the brim and over, but sometimes you need your own zoning
You
time.
time, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, Ash, where can people get in touch and follow you on the gram?
You can follow me on the gram at Ash Pollard __, or going back to the little collab that I was telling you about, the the Australian mushrooms shaker bag collab, head to their website, australianmushrooms.com.au. You can get all those awesome recipes too. Amazing for children. They will love. And if you're a vegetarian, they'll love that too. I'm also on TikTok. What the actual?
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, total millennial. I'm trying to navigate that. Not very good, but yeah, Ash Pollard. I think that's my TikTok. Do you call it a handle?
I don't even know. Yeah, yeah,
I
must
don't
be a bit
know,
too old. I don't
but
know.
yeah, Instagram is where I am at mostly. Ash Pollard __.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for today's chat. It's been great and very insightful. So thank you so much and look
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing what happens in the future for you.
Oh, let's cross our fingers, Karina.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right.